Alright guys, Noah here with CustomRCMods, and today I have another flying video for you. This one was requested by my good buddy Whimpersnapper on my Discord and Instagram, and today actually happens to be his birthday, so happy birthday Whimpersnapper. Here's the video that you requested. I'm super excited to do it here with the Mini Scout. I also have a new prop on here. This one is a Johnny FPV Azure Race Quad prop. I don't know how Johnny FPV flies a little Mini Scout in his backyard, but I think we're about to find out, so let's go ahead and get this thing on up in the air. And of course we got the softball tournament that's been going on all weekend, so don't mind them if you hear them in the background. Okay, immediately notice a lot better speed and performance from this new prop. I was originally running a 5x4 biblade prop from Diatone, which is a good prop, but this one is much more powerful because it's tri-blade first off, and it has a little bit more pitch tacked on the end there. And it's also a lot smoother, and that makes it a lot quieter too, so probably doesn't annoy the neighbors as much. Feeling a little bit tail heavy, lost it behind the roof there. Also a lot easier to keep orientation because I have, of course, a new prop on the plane, so that's nice and convenient. Not like I'd lose the orientation front to back, but this thing needs some trim. It really only wants to go left. It's kind of all over the place. I don't want to hit the roof because that's our recovery mission, but hopefully I just hit my roof and not the neighbor's roof. That's ideal, so hopefully just don't crash at all. Anyways, here we are. Let's go ahead and do a low pass in between the houses. Kind of dipped off to the right there in between the trees. And I'll leave my last Mini Scout backyard flight in the description below if you're interested in that. But essentially I crashed into the tree that I'm standing right behind, and it was a pretty nasty experience because I dented up the rear tail area of the plane pretty badly, and that ultimately ended the Mini Scout version 1. So this one is the second one, and hopefully we're not going to make the same mistake we made last time. But either way, we're flying it here. This is a pretty relaxing plane to fly once you start realizing what it needs to fly smoothly. Obviously every setup's going to be a little bit different, but this one here is just, I mean, it has a lot of rate to it. Still 3-channel though. I haven't added ailerons. I think I'm going to do that in the future, maybe even tonight. I need a project to do tonight, so I might make a video on that if I do and document how well it works. But if you guys do recall, I am running 9-gram servos in the fuselage of this thing, so there's not a lot of excess real estate for aileron servos or a single aileron servo, and I'm not totally sure about that. I might just rebuild the entire thing with 4.5-gram servos because then it would just be a little bit more consistent. Consistently running smaller servos that obviously wouldn't weigh as much, because that's one of the big downsides to adding ailerons to this thing, is that it adds excess weight to this airplane. So I'm not totally sure, but either way, having fun, and it flies just fine. 3 channels, just so you can't do aerobatics or can't be overly maneuverable, and of course you're restricted using your rudder for everything, which is just not quite as precise on the Scout designs. As a whole, my larger simple Scout loves bank and yank, and the rudder basically does nothing. But when you only have the rudder, you kind of gotta make do with what you got, and this thing does not fly as well as some other planes do with rudder only. You can see it kind of rolls it for you, but that's due to the dihedral, and it's just complicated, so not totally sure. This propeller, because it has an extra blade, has a lot better static thrust to it, which is just awesome. It's not overly fast, and it doesn't have to be overly fast, of course, but it has that static thrust that'll get you out of a pinch once you're in a sticky situation, which is obviously something that is going to happen rather commonly when you're flying in tight quarters. I think I messed my thrust angle up when I built this too, because I'll go ahead and do a punch out on my next circle. And you can see I go straight to the moon, and then it feels super tail heavy off that because you're kind of out of position. The wings aren't generating lift, but it glides pretty well. So I'm going to go up to the stratosphere here. Let's just see what I can do. Let's see if I can glide down a little bit and show you the gliding performance. Because again, it feels a little bit tail heavy, but honestly, I think that my CG is just about perfect. And in this case, it might even be better than having it too nose heavy, because I like the elevator authority that it gives you, especially if you need to get out of the way of something in a pinch. So we're way up high. I'm going to go ahead and glide down. No throttle. Right through there. And you can see as soon as I get back on the throttle and add some rudder, it just overcorrects for itself. Diving down into the backyard here. Turn around. Got to get out before I hit the screened-in porch. Okay, and whatever timer I've set in my radio is not correct, because this thing can easily fly for much longer than 5 minutes. Just when you're flying conservatively. That's a nice thing about having a small little 1806 motor as opposed to like an F-Pack 2207, is it draws a lot less current, meaning you're going to get better flight times. And the nice thing about this plane as a whole is that you have just a lot better characteristics when you're flying slower anyways, because although it does handle speed well, it's just, you don't really gain a lot of, you don't add a lot to the experience by going fast. So yeah, it's nice, it has good flight times, so really happy with that. And we're gonna go behind the house here a little bit, down super low. Oh, there's a tree there. I'm always scared I'm going to hit that tree that's right in front of me when I'm making that turn, but if you're just doing these circles, I mean, it doesn't fly too bad. So just gliding on in, gliding on by. That was a good one. Again, that rudder is super sensitive, so you really have to know the airplane, or just put lower rates on it. But I would definitely highly recommend this plane to beginners, as well as the larger Simple Scout, the bigger brother, which is my all-time favorite. But if size is a concern in your space, then this one's a good option too. However, I like the larger Simple Scout because it has the option of adding ailerons, which is going to be a lot better if you're a beginner, in my opinion. Some people say that you want to start with a 3-channel plane and then get ailerons later to further complicate as you grow. However, I feel like if you can get the use of ailerons down before your muscle memory falsely puts rudder on the right stick instead of where it belongs on the left stick on more advanced planes, then you can really progress a lot faster rather than learning rudder on the right stick and then moving it over to the left stick later. So some people say that these 3-channel planes fly just like the 4-channel ones, because most of them have where the rudder does a little bit of roll with the dihedral. But again, I would say that for your first plane, I'd highly recommend building with ailerons if you can help it. But you can definitely add ailerons to this plane, and that's a conversation we've already had as I get really close to the tree there. But either way, really liking how the Mini Scout's flying right now. I just love gliding in right here, gliding right past. Almost hit the ground there. Just jam the throttle and get out of there. Glide right through. There we go. And you got to get that altitude back up before I have nowhere to go. Alright, I'm going to do one more circle and then set up an approach. So we're heading up. And 3 minutes is not right. I reset my timer. So here's my test landing approach. Oh, almost hit the tree. It's again, the rudder's just a little bit different, and you got to get used to it. But here's my actual landing. We're just going to land down on the other side of the yard. Oh, just kidding. I was going to hit the swing set. So go around. No big deal. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to get low early so I can just motor it in and choose where I want to set it. Almost hit that house. Right down there is fine. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. Thanks for watching so much, as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.